A line perpendicular to the line segment joining 1, 0 and 2, 3 divides it in the ratio 1:n. Find the equation of the line. So what do we know? We know that we have these 2 points 1, 0 and 2, 3 and there is a line segment joining these 2 points. So the line that we need to figure out actually is perpendicular to this line segment, and we know one more thing, that this line divides this line segment in the ratio 1:n. Using all of this, we need to figure out the equation of this line. Pause the video, try this on your own. Okay, so let's visualize what we have. We have this point 1, 0 and this point 2, 3. So the line segment is this. And we have this line that we have to figure out perpendicular to this line segment. Alright, so this line is perpendicular. Now this could be here, here or here. It can move around, but it has to be perpendicular to this line segment. So this is perpendicular. And lastly, this ratio, this length and this length, this ratio is 1:n. So this is what the story looks like. Pause the video, think about a strategy that we can use here. Alright, let's do this together. The first thing that we can do is we can use the section formula to get the point of intersection. We have to figure out this point of intersection, and we can do that using the section formula on this line segment. We know these 2 points and we know the ratio in which this point divides this line segment. So that's how we can reach this point. What else can we do? Well, we can figure out the slope of this line, slope of this perpendicular, using the slope of this line segment. So we can find the slope of the given line and use it to find the slope of the required line. Because these two are perpendicular, their slopes will be related. So the first step will give us the point and the second step will give us the slope. In using both of these, we can use slope point form to get the equation. Do you want to pause the video and try this on your own? Okay, let's do this together. Let's first find the point. How do we use the section formula? Well, section formula says that your x coordinate is mx2 plus nx1 by m plus n, and your y coordinate is my2 plus ny1 by m plus n. Here x1 and x2 are these endpoint coordinates, and this point divides this line segment in the ratio m:n. This is the formula for the x coordinate, and the same thing works for the y coordinate as well. So let's use the formula. The x coordinate will be given as 1 times 2 plus n times 1. So n times 1 plus 1 times 2 divided by the sum of this m plus n, which is 1 plus n here. So that's n plus 1. This will give us the x coordinate. Let's do the same thing for y coordinate. That's going to be 3 times 1 plus n times 0 divided by n plus 1. So let's simplify. The coordinates of this point are n plus 2 by n plus 1, comma 3 by n plus 1. So this is the point in terms of n, and this makes sense because n is variable, so this point will also be variable. Alright, we have this point, now we need the slope. So let's first find the slope of this line, this given line. That's y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. So that's 3 minus 0 by 2 minus 1. That's going to be 3. Now how do we find the slope of this perpendicular? Remember that the slopes of perpendicular lines are related like this. Their product is equal to minus 1. So if one of them is 3, the other one is minus 1 by 3. So the slope of the required line is going to be minus 1 by 3. So we have the slope and we have the point. Now we can use the slope point form. The equation is y minus y1 equals to n times x minus x1. M here is slope, that's minus 1 by 3. And for the point, we can use this point of intersection. This point lies on this original line as well as its perpendicular. So let's use this point and the slope. This is what we get. Y minus 3 by n plus 1 equals to minus 1 by 3. This is the slope times x minus n plus 2 by n plus 1. Now let's simplify. We can take the LCM. Here we have n plus 1. Here we have 3 times n plus 1 with a negative sign. So let's multiply both sides by minus 3 times n plus 1. So that's minus 3 times y times n plus 1 minus 3. That's equal to, this entire thing goes and the denominator goes. This is x times n plus 1 minus n plus 2. Let's open this up. This is x plus 3y. Both of them have n plus 1, so we can factor that. X plus 3y times n plus 1 equals to, what do we have on the other side? We have minus 3 times minus 3, that's 9. And this is n plus 2, so this also goes to the other side. So finally we have x plus 3y equals to, numerator will be n plus 11 and denominator will be n plus 1. So this equation will also have n as a variable. As you change n, your equation also changes. But this is the equation of this perpendicular that divides this line segment in the ratio 1:n, where the line segment is formed by joining these points.